The JoLynn Braley Show, episode number 143. Why you need the mindset of a successful Everest climber to lose weight for good. Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. This is JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of The Diet That Is Not a Diet. What's that, you ask? That's the Inner Self Diet. The Inner Self Diet is my proven step-by-step coaching system, which I have been coaching amazing clients through since 2009. It works every time. All you gotta do is do it. Just follow the instructions, just do the steps, and it will give you struggle-free weight loss in 8 weeks or less. What is struggle-free weight loss? Struggle-free weight loss means that you're able to live a healthy lifestyle without sabotaging yourself, without binge eating, without emotional eating, without eating food that you know isn't going to help you lose weight. Struggle-free weight loss means that you do the things that you need to do to live a healthy lifestyle, to allow the fat to drop off your body, and it's not a big deal. So that is the result that my awesome coaching clients get in the Inner Self Diet. I personally work with them, guide them, virtually hold their hand over the phone, give them all of their tools that they need to succeed, and it works. Pretty cool stuff. Hey, do you already have my free ebook? If you don't, you can get it now. Go to www.easyfunweightloss.com, www.easyfunweightloss.com. In it, you will get 3 simple steps to start making weight loss easy and fun from the inside out. These are not your typical food or exercise tips. Get that now at www.easyfunweightloss.com. All right, today on episode number 123, this is a really cool topic for me because I love anything that has to do with climbing Mount Everest. I also love anything that has to do with mountain climbing in general. If I had to choose between the beach or the mountains, I would pick the mountains. I myself am not a mountain climber. I love to downhill ski. And I just simply love the mountains, but I especially love what is necessary, what is needed, the kind of mindset that you must have in order to successfully climb, the mountain of your choice. And when you think about it, wouldn't you agree that this lifelong goal that you have had to lose weight, and I hope that what you want is to keep it off. If you are okay with yo-yo dieting, if you're okay with the madness of short-term weight loss followed by long-term weight gain, then I wouldn't even waste your time listening to this podcast or any of my podcasts, because I'm not here to enable or encourage anyone to do any kind of short-term weight loss, because that is not permanent weight loss. Permanent weight loss is when you get to your goal weight and you maintain it for the rest of your life. And that requires a weight loss mindset. It requires living a healthy lifestyle. It requires making changes to how you think, how you feel, your emotional state, your inner self, and of course, changes to your physical behaviors on a day-to-day basis, a healthy lifestyle. And without a healthy lifestyle, an ongoing healthy lifestyle, which is not a short-term diet, you're not going to be able to achieve permanent weight loss. And it's all based on getting the right mindset. Mindset is 92.8% of winning long-term with your weight. And in order to climb Mount Everest successfully, You have to have the right mindset. And what I want to share with you here is the components that make up the mindset of a successful Everest climber, and how those same components that in a climber climbing Mount Everest to succeed long term, that you need to have those same elements in a weight loss mindset, not just to get to your goal weight. Anybody can do that. You might have done it before. And there's all kinds of ways to get to your goal weight. A lot of them are unhealthy and they're unsustainable, and they're clearly not lifestyles. They're not healthy lifestyles. And then there's the healthy way of getting to your goal weight, which 92.8% of that is about getting the right mindset so that you could change your behaviors and live a healthy lifestyle long term. Okay? And since anybody can lose weight, you can force yourself to lose weight. You can hate every moment of it, and you can get to your goal weight and then gain it all back. Waiting until you get to that one number on the scale and then telling yourself as soon as you get there, whoa, now I've made it. And so now I can go eat everything that I have been missing. And actually, I consider the danger zone being once you get to your goal weight. And nobody else talks about this. Everybody else, it's all about losing weight, weight loss, lose weight, weight loss. And there's nothing being said about the danger zone, which is once you get to your goal weight and what is required to maintain that weight for the rest of your life. And that, my friend, is permanent weight loss when you do that, when you maintain your healthy, fit weight for the rest of your life. And to do that, you've got to have the mindset of a successful Everest climber in order to climb your mountain, which is your weight loss goal, and maintain that for the rest of your life. Okay, so what are the elements that a successful Everest climber must have? One thing that you want to be aware of is that in order to climb Everest successfully, you have to scale it, and you have to go level by level. Okay, first you have to make it to base camp. You've got to first get there. But then there are several camps. I think there's a total of 4 that go up the mountain from base camp. And the purpose of those camps is to help you and help your body acclimate to the different altitudes, because you're not going to be able to start at base camp and climb all the way to the top of Mount Everest. That's what a lot of people, though, who have a fat mindset, that's a mindset grounded in fear attracting thoughts, FAT. They want to just do some quickie, fast, fat loss diet, and they want to start at their own, they actually want to start below base camp. They don't have any kind of a weight loss mindset, and they want to just power through with pure willpower to get all the way up to the top of their mountain. They're not doing it by levels. They're not working on their inner self. They're not working on their mindset. And is there any wonder why they fail? They never actually make it to their goal. So you have to take Everest in stages, and each stage is important. One of the most dangerous stages is the last camp before you ascend to the summit, and that last camp is up in the death zone, and the death zone is 26,000 feet and above. And once you get up into the death zone in that high altitude, nothing lives up there. The oxygen level is so thin that there is no life up there. And the longer that a human stays above 26,000 feet, your body starts to deteriorate. It starts to die. But there is a camp up there so that climbers can get to that camp and rest before summiting. Now, one of the big mistakes that an unsuccessful Everest climber will make, and this is the same mistake that those who have a fat mindset make when it comes to achieving permanent weight loss. What an unsuccessful Everest climber will be looking at is only the end goal and only looking at getting to the top, getting to the summit. And that's the same thing that an unsuccessful person who wants to lose weight to get to their goal weight is doing. All they're looking at is that day that they can get on the scale and see that one number, and that right there is their Everest. A successful Everest climber does not see that summit as their end goal. They see their end goal as getting back down the mountain safely. So summiting is part of the successful Everest climber's goal. Summiting is only part of that. Getting the summit is the very top of Mount Everest, if you're not familiar with Mount Everest. And once you get above 26,000 feet, you start to lose basic motor skills. It's very difficult to do very, very simple things that you do in your normal day-to-day life when you're not living or up on the top of a mountain. And it's very easy to die. That's actually the death zone is not only called the death zone because it's above 26,000 feet, but there's also a whole heck of a lot of dead bodies up there. I think the count now, I think there's over 200. And the reason there are so many dead bodies is because when a climber dies, there isn't even any way to get the body off of the mountain because the amount of resources that a Sherpa or just a regular climber would need in order to bring a body down, it's just too dangerous. It's pretty much impossible. So the bodies are just up there. There are people who died many years ago and their bodies are still on Everest. So if you don't have the right mindset to climb Everest, it's not like having a fat mindset and struggling for the rest of your life with food, binge eating, emotional eating, food obsessions, overweight, obesity. It's not exactly the same. A lot of people do die, though, from obesity and overweight and eating crappy because they have a crappy lifestyle, which matches a crappy fat, F-A-T, fear attracting thoughts mindset. But it takes longer. It takes longer for them to die from their lifestyle. Up on Everest, up there in the death zone, you're gone. You are dead if you are not looking beyond the summit. So a successful Everest climber does not see the goal as the summit. They see the goal as getting back down the mountain safely and then getting back home and living the rest of their life and being able to talk about their awesome experience climbing Mount Everest. Are you getting this? Is it making sense? In order to achieve permanent weight loss, the goal is not your ideal weight. That can't be the goal. The goal has to be far, far, far beyond that. The goal is to maintain your healthiest weight for life. And the only way that you're going to maintain your healthiest weight for life is you've got to be living a healthy lifestyle day in, day out, which requires the right mindset, a weight loss mindset. And that means that when you're living a healthy lifestyle, you are not binge eating, you're not using food for comfort, you're not using food as a coping mechanism, you're not using food as a treat or something that you deserve. You're using food to fuel your body. And that doesn't mean that you don't enjoy what you eat, but it means that food is fuel. Food is not a fun game. It's not supposed to be your fun in life. Food is not your best friend or your lover. Food is food. And when you get the right mindset, and when you heal the root of what drives you to continue to abuse yourself with food and abuse your body with food, and you get the right mindset, then you will break free of your binge eating, your emotional eating, all of the challenges, the problems, the sticking points, the brick walls that have held you back and kept your body fat and kept you in struggle. It all hinges on getting the right mindset. So, to achieve permanent weight loss, the goal cannot be the summit. The goal has to go far beyond that. You have to go beyond the danger zone, which is that day that you see that goal weight on the scale. That's the big danger zone. If you can maintain your goal weight for 5 years, 10 years, and beyond, you know for sure that you've achieved permanent weight loss. If you have never, ever, ever maintained your goal weight, start with 3 months. If you can maintain your goal weight for 3 months and then add on another 3 months and then another 3 months and then another 3 months, and if you are free of the binge eating, free of the emotional eating, you're no longer using food as a crutch, you're no longer thinking as soon as you have any kind of problem in your life or a bad day or somebody snarls at you, you have an argument, your first thought is not to eat. Okay? All of these changes come by getting the right mindset. You've got to heal your inner self. It's all the inner work. That's 92.8% of the challenge. And that's what I do with my awesome coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet. All right, are you following me here? Is this making sense, even just a little bit? So there's another element, a couple other elements that a successful Everest climber has in order to successfully summit and get back down safely and get back to their normal life. All right, they have to take 100% full personal responsibility for themselves. You cannot expect to climb Everest and be a victim. You cannot have a victim mentality. You have to plan ahead. You have to have all your ducks in a row. You also have to ask for help. Unless you are a seasoned professional climber who's been climbing for 10, 20 or more years, then you have to have help. You have to have Sherpas. And the Sherpas are an indigenous population who live around Mount Everest in that high sea level, not on Everest, but down in like Nepal, for example. And they have a job. And what they do is they carry the supplies of the climbers up the mountain. And it's very dangerous. It's dangerous for the climbers also. But to successfully summit and then get back down, you have to have the help of a Sherpa. Now, as far as I know, Sherpas do not go to the summit. I don't think they do. I would need to research that. But you have to, and especially there then, going from the last camp all the way up to the summit, you have to be relying on yourself, because no one else is going to be able to help you. If you don't pay attention, and if you don't have your gear up to par before you take that summit, you could end up dead. You got to pay attention. You have to follow instructions. You have to ask questions if you don't know what you're doing. And a lot of these people nowadays who are climbing Mount Everest, they are not professional climbers. And so they have to, it's at least $45,000 to climb Everest. And that includes, you have to get a climbing permit, which can range, it depends on what side of the mountain you climb from, but a minimum $7,000 for the climbing permit. It could be $11,000. And then you're paying for the Sherpa, you're paying the professional climbing company that you're climbing with. And so most of the people climbing today, they're not even professional. And you can't have the attitude that other people are going to take care of you or that it's other people's fault if you don't summit. You have to completely have the right mindset, be planning ahead, be paying attention. You've got to follow instructions. And all of these things that I've said here, you have to have all of these elements to achieve permanent weight loss also. If you have a victim mentality, which many millions of the overweight and obese population have a victim mentality. And a victim mentality is when you are not in your own power and you are giving your power away by blaming other people. You're blaming food for your problems. You're blaming the fast food industry for your problems. You're blaming the processed food industry. You're blaming your mother because your mother taught you how to count calories and you think that if you'd never done that you'd be fine. You're blaming everybody else and anything else, any diet you've ever done. If you've ever had coaching, you're blaming your coach when you are the one who didn't take action. You're blaming everything and everyone outside of yourself for the state of your weight. And as long as you continue to do that, you don't have any power to change and you will remain in that victim mode. You cannot climb Mount Everest and succeed with a victim mentality. And a victim mentality is not an ingredient of a weight loss mindset. You have to make the decision to take full 100% personal responsibility for the results that you are currently living. And if you want to change those results, the fastest path to changing them is to ask for help, to hire a coach, to get coaching, to invest in yourself. Just like these climbers who successfully will summit Everest, they get help. They have to hire help. They can't do it themselves. And they follow instructions. Okay, they ask questions if they don't understand something. These are all things that you need to be doing in order to summit your own Everest and achieve permanent success with your weight. Not just lose weight, but get to your goal weight and go beyond it. Maintain it for the rest of your life. Up on Everest, if you don't follow instructions, you're dead. You're dead. I was watching this one documentary about this man. They told all of these climbers, they were told never to step outside of their tent without their boots on. And this guy came outside of his tent in the morning and, oh, it's so beautiful. And he was stretching and he didn't have his boots on. He had his boot warmers on. He's dead. It was so slippery that he slipped on the snow and the ice that was there outside of his tent, and he slid all the way down, fell into a crevasse, and he was gone. So, like I said, the summiting your own Everest of professional or permanent weight loss, it's not as dire. The stakes are not as high as if you were climbing Everest. But on the other hand, they are that high, because what do you stand to lose? How do you die every time that you don't succeed? Think about that. Another piece of you dies every time you don't succeed. Every time you give in to your negative thinking, to your limiting beliefs, to your low self-esteem, to your self-doubts. Every time that you turn to food for comfort, every time that you do not keep your word to yourself, every time that you tell yourself you can do it all alone and you don't need any help and you continue to fail over and over and over again, every time a little piece of you dies. Kind of depressing, but the good news about it is that if you were to just get on the right track, get the help you need to heal the foundational inner root issues that drive your out of control eating, they drive your ongoing unhealthy eating habits. If you were to heal the root of these unhealthy eating behaviors, then the eating behaviors can change, and then you change your mindset, because that's the huge starting point, and then weight loss becomes easy. It becomes no big deal. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't do anything to lose weight, because you have to do things, just like a successful Everest climber has to do things. You can't go to Everest base camp and sit there and meditate in a tent and expect that you're suddenly going to summit Everest. It's not going to happen. Just like when I talk about the fact that a weight loss mindset is 92.8% of the battle, that doesn't mean that getting a weight loss mindset means that you're going to sit around and meditate all day and somehow lose weight. No, you have to cook your whole foods. You've got to portion them out. You've got to plan ahead. You've got to get your exercise in. You've got to make sure you're getting enough sleep each night and the right kind of deep sleep. You've got to be drinking your water and enough water. You've got to change what you're eating, how much you're eating, when you're eating. There's several things that go into living a healthy lifestyle so that you will allow your body to release the fat over time so that you can finally get to your summit, which is the goal weight, and go beyond it. Because you cannot be successful long term by only getting to the summit. How many times have you done that before? How many times have you gotten to your goal weight and you gained it all back plus an extra 10 or 20? All right? Are you getting this? Is it making sense? You've got to have the mindset of a successful Everest climber to lose weight for good. You have to go beyond the summit. This is another reason that many people die in the death zone on Everest, because they are not paying attention. Well, they're not able to pay attention because the oxygen level is so low. And because they paid $45,000 or more to climb Everest, they tell themselves, I have to get to the summit. I have to get to the summit, when they are in danger of dying just to get to the summit. But they push themselves to get there. They totally ignore their body's signals. They ignore even their coach, their professional climber who's climbing with them. And they say, I got to get to the summit. I got to get to the summit. And then they die. And then some of them spend too much time up there taking selfies. Okay? It's a life or death thing to climb Everest. It's not child's play. It's not anything to embark upon unless you are 100% badass serious. And really, when I take on a new coaching client in the Inner Self Diet, I explain to them how critical their commitment is to themselves, and that it's not child's play. It's not just oh, la, 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 I'm just going to, listen to you talk and I'm going to get a weight loss mindset. Nope. You've got to pack your gear. You've got to walk the path. You've got to take action. You've got to do the work. There's actual homework to do to get a weight loss mindset to release your food and weight struggles in 8 weeks or less. And if you think that you can climb Mount Everest and reach your Everest of permanent weight loss without doing the work, then that's a big reason why you're still struggling with food and your weight. It is time for a commercial break here on the JoLynn Braley Show. This week's sponsor of the JoLynn Braley Show is 21practicalweightlosstips.com. Go to 21, that's 21practicalweightlosstips.com. Grab my free report. In it, you will get my list of 21 practical weight loss tips that actually work, tips that I've used myself. These are tips that you can incorporate as part of a healthy lifestyle. And if you have a weight loss mindset, they will be super easy for you to do. If they appear to be difficult, or if you have any challenges doing them and doing them consistently, then that will give you the signal, that'll give you the indication, that'll give you the big flashing sign that tells you that you don't have a weight loss mindset and that you need to get one if you want to make it struggle-free to lose weight and keep it off. So you can get my 21 practical weight loss tips now. It's a free download. All you have to do is enter your first name and your best email address, and we will email it to you. Get that now at 21practicalweightlosstips.com. Get my weight loss tips that actually work. All right, I'm going to give you a couple questions to ask yourself. This is something that I do on each episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, and I highly recommend that you write each question down, pen on paper, and then you write your answer down, pen on paper, because there is a connection that occurs between the head, the hand, and the heart when you write pen on paper. You do not get that connection typing on a keyboard. You don't get any connection when all you do is listen to me talk. And I totally agree with Mr. Tony Robbins, who says that you can never learn by only listening. Pretty much goes in one ear and out the other. And it's nice. Oh, that was a great podcast by JoLynn. I really like how direct she is. And then you forget about it. But if you actually get out pen and paper, you can get the very most out of this 100% free weight loss podcast, especially since the only way to get coaching, real coaching, there has to be a two-way communication. And since that's not what this podcast is or can ever be, because I'm just here in my home office recording studio recording this podcast for you, I have no idea who you are. Therefore, this is not coaching. And you can get some answers from yourself by writing these questions down and writing your answer down to get more out of this totally free weight loss podcast. You can pause the podcast when you need more time. All right, first question. Do I already have the mindset of a successful Everest climber, or have I only been focused on getting to the summit with no regard for maintaining my goal weight for life? Do I already have the mindset of a successful Everest climber, or have I only been focused on getting to my goal weight without any thought of how I'm going to maintain it for the rest of my life? Number 2 question. Am I taking 100% personal, full responsibility for myself and my results? Or have I been blaming other people, circumstances, the weather, the fast food industry, anything outside of myself for why I have not achieved permanent weight loss? Am I taking 100% full personal responsibility for myself and my results? Or am I blaming other circumstances, other institutions, other people outside of me for my failures to change and lose weight once and for all? Number 3 question. Am I paying attention to instructions, or am I just doing whatever I want to do even though I'm not getting the results I want? Am I paying attention to instructions and following instructions? Or am I just doing whatever I want to do, getting the results I don't even like, and then probably blaming other people for my results? These are real interesting questions to ask yourself, and you have to be 100% honest in answering them. Because most people, they say they want to lose weight, but the way that they want to do it is by continuing to eat what they're already eating the same amounts they're already eating, doing everything that they want to do because they're not going to have anybody else tell them how they need to eat, and they're not going to make any changes that they don't want to make. And then they cry and complain because they're still overweight or obese. How does that add up? Number 4 question. Do I recognize myself in any way in what JoLynn just said? Do I recognize myself in any way in what JoLynn just said? And remember, just pause the podcast as you need more time to write down your answers. Number 5 question: who is my coach? Who is helping me to climb Everest? Who is cheering me on? Who is giving me the right path, the right tools? Who is giving me the instructions to follow that have already succeeded for all the others that came before me? Who is my coach? And number 6 question: if I don't have a coach, why not? Why am I thinking that I can do this all alone when I never have done it all alone before? If I don't have a coach, why not? Why am I still thinking and still telling myself that I can do this all alone when I never have done it all alone before? And the last question: how am I ever going to summit Everest and get back home safely if I don't make the necessary changes to my mindset today? How am I ever going to summit Everest? That means getting to your goal weight and maintaining it for the rest of your life. How am I ever going to summit Everest and get back home safely if I don't change my mindset now? How am I going to do this? Or am I just going to stay in Einstein's definition of insanity, which is continuing to do the same things over and over and over again while expecting a different result? Very good questions to ask yourself. This is not even a Get Real episode of the JoLynn Braley Show today, but these questions are real, get real moments for you. And bottom line, you absolutely 100%, I am totally confident that you can achieve permanent weight loss, even though I don't know who you are. Well, actually, because I don't know who you are, there are 3 things that if you can answer these and say yes to them, then it proves you can achieve permanent weight loss. Can you worry? Can you recall any memory? And can you tie your shoes? If you can do those 3 things, then Dr. Maxwell Maltz said that you can do anything else. You can learn anything else. You can succeed at anything else. And those are 3 pretty basic things. And if you can answer yes to those, then you can achieve permanent weight loss. You just have to get the right tools. You have to get the right path. You have to get the system. You've got to have accountability. You've got to have the coaching to get this done quickly. If you want to get this done in 8 weeks or less. If you would rather take a year or more, then that is a path you could take. And as long as you have a system that works, then that's cool. A system for permanent weight loss, not just weight loss that is short-term. Hey, unless you want short-term weight loss, if you want short-term weight loss, though, why did you listen all the way to the end to this podcast? Because I don't teach anybody how to do short-term weight loss. Next week's episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, we'll be talking about how guilt fuels your emotional eating. That's right. You heard me right. All the ways, or at least 3 ways, that guilt fuels your emotional eating. It keeps the cycle going. It actually feeds the cycle of your emotional eating. So be sure to tune in for that. If you are struggling with emotional eating, you just might get a big aha moment. And remember that all change is preceded by awareness. You cannot change anything that you are not aware of. Which is why coaching is the fastest path to success with your weight, because all of those things that you're not aware of, they are blind spots. And even having an awareness here through the JoLynn Braley Show, it's not necessarily going to be big enough to catapult you through to your full success that you want to achieve with climbing your Everest and going beyond the goal point to maintain your ideal weight for life. Now, of course, if you are able to achieve that through my free weight loss podcast, then that is awesome. And I want to hear about it. And I would love it if you would please write that in a review over on iTunes to tell me all about it. That would be absolutely fantastic. And I would give you a virtual high five to congratulate you for your success. That would rock. Make sure that you are subscribed to the JoLynn Braley Show in your favorite podcast outlet. Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, iTunes, wherever it is that you are finding and subscribing to the JoLynn Braley Show. Get subscribed if you're not already subscribed. Look up the JoLynn Braley Show in your favorite podcast outlet so that you don't miss any episodes. Hey, who do you know who actually wants to and is willing to do the steps to achieve permanent weight loss? Who do you know who wants to end their binge eating, end their emotional eating, end the struggle, end the drama, end the trauma, end the frustration, and be able to live a healthy lifestyle without it being any big deal? Who do you know who is very smart and successful professionally, but they've never been able to achieve permanent, lasting success on their own? Send them now over to www.discovery-session.com. Actually, I recommend that you suggest that they listen to this podcast or any of my podcasts, and then let them know that their first step will be found at www.discovery-session.com. That's if they want the fast track. That's if they know and understand how smart they are for getting coaching, because nobody can see their own blind spots, and the smartest and most successful people know they can't do it alone. Just like no successful Everest climber can do it alone. So whoever it is that you know who would love to stop asking themselves, why am I so smart and successful professionally, but I've never been able to succeed permanently with this food and weight struggle? Send them to www.discovery-session.com. This is a limited time offer, so tell them that and tell them to get going now. And actually, why would anybody want to continue struggling in the frustration, the shame, the self-hatred, the body hate, all of the muckmire that goes along with out of control eating, binge eating, emotional eating, self-sabotage, overweight, obesity, your pants getting tighter and tighter? Why would anybody want to keep themselves in that struggle? Right? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Unless they are addicted to feeling bad. If they're addicted to feeling bad, and if they like being able to talk about that and have a story to tell, then that would be, a big thing holding them back. And then they probably won't go over to www.discovery-session.com because they'll want to hang on to their story. And so there's nothing you can do to help people who don't want help. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the JoLynn Braley Show. This has been a really neat topic because I really love anything that has to do with mountain climbing. I hope that you got a lot out of it. I would love it if you would leave a review of the JoLynn Braley Show on iTunes. Type in 1 or 2 sentences. Share what your biggest aha is that you've gotten from the show. Rate the show. Give the show a 5-star rating. I believe it's a 5-star show because I'm not just talking about what everybody else is talking about, and those are the food tips and the exercise tips. Don't get me wrong, you do have to change your eating habits and your exercise habits, but unless you get a weight loss mindset, then you're missing 92.8% of the solution. I'm JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the Inner Self Diet, the diet that is not a diet, the diet that always works. All you have to do is follow the steps of course, nothing is going to work by magic. You've got to follow the steps. And I wish you your best life while living inside of your ideal body.